like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, everybody, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into a story about a Mega Millions win. And not just any win. No, we are talking over $1 billion.
Wow.
The winning ticket was purchased way back in March. But here's the thing. The winner only just came forward a whole 9 months later.
9 months.
Yeah, 9 months. We are going to be going through an article from People magazine and see if we can figure out what may have been going through this winner's head all that time.
Well, I think what's so intriguing is that this situation gives us this unique window, into the human psyche.
Right.
It's a real-life case study of how someone navigates this immense complexity of sudden wealth.
Absolutely. And it's not every day that we get to, kind of unpack a billion-dollar mystery like this.
That's for sure.
So the winning ticket was worth a cool $1.128 billion.
Wow.
Purchased at a ShopRite
Of course it was.
in Neptune Township, New Jersey, making it the 5th largest Mega Millions jackpot ever.
And for everyone at home wondering, the winning numbers were 07, 11, 22, 29, 38, and the gold mega ball 04 with a 2x multiplier.
It's a lot of numbers.
But you know what I think is the most fascinating part of this whole thing?
What's that?
The winner's decision to remain anonymous.
Yeah, that's right. And that's thanks to a 2020 New Jersey law that allows lottery winners to keep their identity a secret. And, honestly, I can kind of see why.
Yeah.
Imagine suddenly having $1 billion and all of the attention that could come with that.
Absolutely. I mean, beyond the obvious financial and legal stuff, there are serious security implications and potential psychological impacts to think about.
Oh, for sure. And this winner definitely took their time to process all of that, waiting 9 months before even claiming the prize.
It's a long time.
Can you imagine keeping that kind of secret for that long?
I mean, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
During those 9 months, were they quietly putting together like a team of financial advisors, lawyers, security experts?
Right.
Were they having those initial what now conversations with their family, trying to make sense of this life-changing event?
Yeah. I mean, it's like stepping into an entirely new reality. Totally.
A reality that most of us can only dream of.
I know.
So let's try to put ourselves in their shoes for a second.
Okay.
Imagine it's Tuesday morning, your coffee's lukewarm,
Oh.
and bam, you're a billionaire.
Oh, my gosh.
What's the first real action you take? Not the fantasy, but the practical. Like first phone call, who you calling?
That is a great question. For most people, that first impulse might be to share the news with family or friends.
Right.
But for someone who is choosing to stay anonymous, that first call might actually be to an attorney.
Interesting.
Someone who specializes in wealth management and asset protection who can guide them through the complexities of managing such a fortune discreetly.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about going on spending sprees or anything like that. It's about safeguarding your future.
Yeah.
Navigating a whole new world of finance.
Right. There are trusts to set up, investment strategies to consider, tax implications.
So many taxes.
I know. This isn't just your everyday financial planning. This is a whole other level. Okay, so we've got this team of experts, but what about the emotional side of things? How do you even begin to process winning $1 billion?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. There's a whole body of research on the psychology of lottery winners.
Mm-hmm.
And it suggests that while winning a huge amount of money can bring, joy and relief, it can also bring a lot of unexpected challenges too.
Okay, like what? Aside from, figuring out which tropical island to buy.
Well, there's the potential strain on relationships.
Oh, yeah.
The fear of being taken advantage of, the pressure to make all the right decisions with such a massive amount of wealth.
Right.
There's even this thing called sudden wealth syndrome.
Oh, wow.
Which can manifest as anxiety, guilt, isolation, and even just like difficulty adjusting to a new lifestyle.
So winning the lottery isn't always this fairy tale ending it's made out to be.
Right. It can be a very complex and multifaceted experience. And it's important to remember that money, while powerful, doesn't magically solve all your problems.
For sure.
Or guarantee happiness. It just kind of amplifies everything that's already there and introduces a whole bunch of new challenges.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. And it makes me wonder if this winner during those 9 months of silence was dealing with some of these very issues.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they were even seeking therapy or counseling to help process this life change?
It's certainly possible they might have been working with professionals to come up with ways of coping, set up healthy boundaries with family and friends, and just navigate the emotional roller coaster that comes with sudden wealth.
So while everyone else was out there speculating about who they are and what they were spending their money on, this winner might have been quietly going through some pretty intense personal stuff.
It really is a stark contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
The public perception of a lottery winner versus the real, human experience behind the headlines.
Absolutely. And speaking of perceptions, let's talk about the ShopRite that sold this winning ticket.
Okay.
They got a $30,000 bonus commission for their role in this whole lucky situation.
And here's where we get a glimpse of the impact this kind of win can have. Instead of keeping the bonus, they donated it all to a local food bank.
What a great story. That is such a nice twist.
It is.
And it really speaks to their values and their commitment to the community.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that wealth, even indirectly, can be a catalyst for some positive change.
It really can be. And if that relatively small bonus can make that much of a difference, imagine the potential of the whole jackpot.
Right. That raises the question of philanthropic responsibility and the ethics of managing such vast wealth.
You're right. It's not just about personal gain. It's about the potential to make a real lasting contribution to society.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really important question. What would you do if you were the winner?
Would you go public? Would you stay anonymous? Would you buy a bunch of fancy stuff or try to leave some kind of positive impact on the world?
It's something to think about.
It really is. And while most of us will probably never experience this level of wealth, it is still fascinating to think about because it really makes you look at your own values and think about the choices you might make if you were ever in that position.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking about the ShopRite donating that bonus commission. It was a really nice twist to the story and got me thinking about the broader impact that these huge jackpots have. I mean, Mega Millions mania, it's sweeping the country right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's contagious.
Well, it's true. All these record-breaking jackpots, they really capture people's imaginations.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one ever, $1.602 billion was won in Florida just this past August.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then you've got South Carolina, Maine, Illinois, Texas. It's like a lottery tour of the U.S.
Yeah.
And as of today, December 24th, the current jackpot is $970 million.
Wow.
Could it top that all-time record?
I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Which just adds to the excitement.
Right. But what I think is really interesting is the psychological impact that these massive jackpots have on everyone, both the people playing and society as a whole.
It's true.
So let's unpack that a bit.
Okay.
We all dream about winning the lottery.
We do.
But what is it about that dream? What does it represent?
For a lot of people, it represents hope. A chance to just escape all of your financial burdens.
Right.
Achieve a level of security and freedom that you might not get otherwise.
Yeah. It's the ultimate what if.
Exactly.
A ticket to a life without money worries.
Yeah, it's like hitting the reset button on everything.
No more bills, no more mortgage, no more student loans.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
It's also a really powerful form of escapism,
Yeah.
It lets us picture a world where all our problems just disappear overnight.
And they're replaced with anything you can imagine.
Exactly.
And the bigger that jackpot gets, the more tempting that fantasy becomes.
Oh, yeah, it's like the American dream on steroids.
It is.
The appeal of instant riches, that thrill of beating the odds, it taps into something deep down, I think.
Yeah.
And it creates this sense of like a shared experience.
Yeah. Everyone's buying tickets. Everyone's talking about what they would do with the money, sharing strategies.
But it's like a national pastime.
It really is.
But I think amidst all the excitement, it's important to remember the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds of winning, let's just say they're not in our favor.
Yeah. It's important to play responsibly
Yeah.
and not let the idea of winning cloud your judgment.
For sure. Now let's go back to our anonymous New Jersey winner for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about the emotional challenges, the practical challenges, but it makes you wonder, what were they actually doing during those 9 months?
Yeah, that's $1 million question.
Were they off celebrating with family? Were they traveling the world?
Right. Were they just taking some time to think about their values, their priorities?
Maybe they were doing a ton of reading about financial planning.
Yeah.
Maybe they were taking classes, meeting with experts.
Right. Trying to figure out how to handle all that money.
Yeah, it's like they were living this secret double life.
One foot in their normal world and the other foot stepping into this world of, well, we don't even know.
I know, and all the while, everyone else is in the dark just making up stories.
It's wild. Now, we talked earlier about the potential downsides of winning all this money.
Yes.
Relationships getting taken advantage of, the pressure of making big decisions.
Right.
There's also that whole thing about how do you keep a sense of normalcy in your life?
Exactly. How do you have a purpose?
Yeah, I can see that being hard.
Yeah?
You suddenly have every bit of money you could ever need. Why even get out of bed in the morning?
Right. It's something that a lot of lottery winners struggle with.
I'll bet.
Some people find new passions. Other people have a hard time finding meaning.
It sounds like having a good sense of self and really knowing your values is important.
Oh, yeah, no matter how much money you have.
Right, right, because money doesn't change who you are.
Exactly. It just kind of makes everything that's already there a bit louder.
That's a really good point. It means that real happiness comes from something deeper than just money and stuff.
It's about having a purpose in life, good relationships, making a difference in the world.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of making a difference, let's talk about another part of this whole lottery thing.
Yeah.
The different ways winners can actually get their money.
Right. Most lotteries offer two main options, the lump sum or the annuity.
Okay, let's break that down for our listeners. What's the difference and what would make someone choose one over the other?
So a lump sum payment means you get all the money right away.
All of it.
All of it. Well, minus taxes, of course.
Right, of course.
This gives you instant access to a ton of money, so you can invest it, buy stuff, pay off debts.
So that's the instant gratification option.
Pretty much. Now, the annuity is a little different.
Okay.
You get the money in smaller chunks over a longer period of time,
Like how long?
usually like 20 or 30 years.
Wow.
This option gives you a steady income stream, which is good for some people.
Right, like a guaranteed paycheck for life.
Exactly. And you get some tax advantages too because the money's spread out over time.
Okay, but you don't get all the money up front.
That's right. And those payments are usually smaller than the lump sum.
So it's a trade-off then.
Right. Instant versus long term.
And which one people choose really just depends on them.
Exactly. Their age, their goals, their risk tolerance.
Right, because someone younger might be more likely to take the lump sum and go invest it.
That's true. While someone older might want that steady income from the annuity.
Makes sense.
But there are other things to consider too, like taxes, estate planning, even just their own personal values.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Very complicated. There's no easy answer.
And it's just one of the many things you got to think about when you win all this money.
That's for sure.
Now, we've talked a lot today, the psychology of winning, how to manage the money, but there's one more piece to this story that we haven't really talked about.
What's that?
The lottery dream.
Oh,
Even with those crazy odds, people still dream of winning big.
They-
And with jackpots this big, it's no wonder everyone's going Mega Millions crazy.
It's true.
It's a phenomenon that I think goes beyond age or where you live or how much money you make.
I think so too.
It's just this basic human desire for security, freedom, and a life without money worries.
Yeah.
And whether we play the lottery or not, that dream can be powerful.
Absolutely.
All right, deep divers. So here's something to think about. What does the lottery dream mean to you?
What would you do with all that money?
We'll be right back after a quick break to finish up our deep dive into this amazing story and explore what these big lottery wins really mean in the grand scheme of things. And we are back, deep divers. We have been all over this billion-dollar Mega Millions win today.
Yeah, we've talked about what it actually takes to manage a sudden windfall like this. The psychological impact of such a, life-altering event.
Right.
And even what it all means for society as a whole.
And through all of that, we keep coming back to this question. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Would you want to be on TV? Would you stay anonymous, spend it all, or invest it?
Donate it all, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It's an interesting thought experiment.
It is, because even if the odds are, astronomical, that what if can lead to some real soul searching.
Yeah, it forces you to really look at your values, your priorities, and how you actually see yourself living a life without, money worries.
Now, before we finish up, let's go back to our winner in New Jersey for a sec. They decided to stay anonymous, waited 9 months to claim the prize.
Yeah.
What does that say to you?
Well, it could mean they're just a really private person. Or maybe they understand just how many problems can come with winning a ton of money.
Yeah, maybe they needed that time to build a support network.
For sure.
Get a team of advisors together.
Right. Really plan for their future.
It just goes to show that winning the lottery isn't just about, going crazy and spending it all.
Yeah.
It's about being smart and making choices that will affect the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And I think it also shows the power of patience. In this world where everything is instant, this winner took their time, really thought it all through.
Yeah.
That's something we could all learn from.
I think so, too.
Whether we're talking about $1 billion or just everyday decisions.
Taking time to think, ask for advice, make good choices. That can make all the difference.
It really can.
Well, we're getting to the end of our deep dive today, but before we go, I want to kind of zoom out for a second.
Okay.
This story, I mean, it's amazing, but it's also about things we all go through.
Right. Wanting to feel safe and secure, trying to be happy, dealing with change, what it means to be responsible when you have money.
Exactly. These are all things that we can all relate to.
Uh-huh.
And even if we never win the lottery ourselves, I think this whole conversation has given us some valuable insights
Definitely.
into wealth and happiness and how we make decisions in our lives.
Absolutely.
So as you go about your day, maybe you'll see a story about a lottery winner
Yeah.
or hear about a new record jackpot.
Right. Or even just have a conversation with someone about, what if...
When you do, just remember what we talked about today.
Remember the real people behind the headlines.
Yeah, and remember that making thoughtful choices is important.
And never forget the power of dreams.
That's all for our deep dive today. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and hey, you never know, maybe buy a lottery ticket.
You never know.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.